Welcome to Project Game Day. After the Ravens lose 18-16 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Project Game Day is made possible by 1-800-GAMBLER. No-cost treatment now available for anyone wanting help with a gambling problem. There is obviously much to cover from this one. Did not go like losing. That's one thing. The way that it happened, completely not the way that you would expect it for this Ravens team. But then again, it's a game in Pittsburgh, and it looked an awful lot like a lot of games in Pittsburgh. I will start. We'll go around the horn with first thoughts as we wait for Reeta to join us. KZ, you are up first. Go right ahead.
You can't turn the ball over three times. You can't miss two field goals. They should have been up 13-3 at the half, and it's a different game. The where they turned the ball over is even worse than the you know because it led to field goals. The defense, it's the best defensive performance they've had all year against a physical team, and Pittsburgh is a physical team. I don't think they're very good offensively. And I don't think Russell Wilson is any good anymore at all. They have George Pickens and they have, a decent run game, but this Ravens, it's undisciplined. Femi's been saying it all year. John came out and said this week why he's surprised it hasn't been fixed by now. Well, you're the one that's supposed to fix it. It's an undisciplined team, and that reflects on him and the coaching staff and everything else. And 12 penalties a week in close games. It's not good enough. Tucker needs to be replaced, and I don't care what anybody says. The grace is over for me. Somebody's got to come in and put some pressure on him. And if they can't, and if people on the internet want to say it's because of the holder, then sign his old holder and have him be part of the 53 to get it fixed because it's not good enough. You're missing you're missing makeable field goals. The guy on the other side is hitting bombs all game long. And it's a disappointing loss because of the way it happened. And it's a sloppy, undisciplined football team that went on the road and should have come out victorious and let one slip away.
All right, Andrew Steck. By the way, it was 12 penalties for 80 yards, just so to throw that in there because I know it's coming up. Andrew Steck.
It sure as hell is coming up. I mean,
Yeah.
look, Casey and I were texting a lot throughout this game, and I told him this is an undisciplined team. Like he's I'm gonna repeat a lot of the words. It's undisciplined. It's coaching. That's a big problem. And I'm like, I feel like we've been saying a lot of the same things over and over, even after wins this season. And that is a continuing theme that, like, you get. I'm sorry, you get this many games into the season, you like to see cleaned up. I texted KZ also early in this game, and I said this feels like a game where the offense is going to have to play hero ball in order to win at 13-10. Now, it ended up being a little bit higher scoring than that, but not by much. And the offense simply couldn't do enough of the hero balling against a really good physical defense in order to get the job done. The Ravens felt like they got dragged into the mud with the Steelers and played the type of game that the Steelers wanted to play rather than dictating the type of game that the Ravens would prefer to play, which is a higher scoring affair and allowing their offense to get out and run. They just got, I hate saying it this way, but they kind of got bullied. And that's the part I think that sucks even more, is that they got dragged into a game that they were less cut out to win than the Steelers were on this given day.
All right, our Super Bowl 35 champion, Femi Ayanbadejo.
Yeah, I agree with everything everybody's saying, and I don't think me taking my scalpel out and trying to nuance my opinion on bullying or discipline is relevant at this point. From a physical standpoint, I actually don't think they got bullied. I just think they made a lot of damn mistakes, and some of the play calling and decision making, I don't understand it. And let me just go through the notes that I took today during this game. So Derrick Henry on the first possession, he fumbles. I mean, how do you think it's going to go when you fumble on the first possession when you actually are going to be like, it either was a first down or was like 3.5 yard. Like
Hmm.
you are where you want to be at that point when you fumble the ball. And Derrick's played great. I was his first fumble in 500 touches. I get it, but it was unfortunate at the wrong time, right? Then you get a holding call, you're behind the six. Then it's 36 on defense, you jump off sides. Then you miss a field goal. Then you have a block in the back. Then you have a missed field goal. Then you have a holding call and a false start and a fumble and the holding on defense. Hands to the face. Zay offside. Zay drop first down. ineligible downfield, fumble, and I don't even have all of it. Like, this is just the fucking nonsense that we deal with. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I don't even know what to say at this point. Sorry, you want to interject?
No, I don't want to interject. I think
Okay.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just frustrated at this point, and I think that, like, from the pundits to us to everybody, the Ravens' worst. The Ravens' biggest issue is the Ravens. Like, it is what it is. It's that. Like, we know this. Zay had a chance to make a play on third down, hits off his face. Like, I don't even know what to say about that. You know what I mean? And Lamar throws a catch that should be a first down inside the 20, and it's an interception. All three of his interceptions this season, none are his fault, which is bonkers to think about. You know what I mean? And he actually had open space to run today, but didn't run.
Mm-hmm.
Today was one of those games, and I'm not blaming Lamar by any means, but today was one of those games like Kansas City week 1 where I was like, Lamar, it's a Lamar game. Today was a Lamar game, and he just stayed in the pocket. He was a pocket passer. He made his choices, and I don't have any issue with Lamar's choices overall. In the defense today actually played really well, but the undisciplinedness, bringing the ball out sometimes, I'm just completely frustrated, guys. I don't disagree with anything anybody said today. And by the way, I am in San Diego. I'm at a bar here. I was the first one here watching the game today, excited, rocking my Ravens gear. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So,
you staying out there for the game next Monday?
No, I'll be back tomorrow.
All right. A few things, because I'm with you guys on a lot of this. I to Femi's point, Andrew, I'm not comfortable with the word bullied, because I don't think, like, up front you want to say that the Steelers defensive front bullied the Ravens offensive line physically. I'd probably be okay with that specifically, but on the whole, they did it to themselves. They just constantly did it to themselves, and yet you still come away with but if you make 2 field goals, you're in a much different situation at the end of the game. And that's why it's a weird, like, the immediacy of it is, oh, God damn it. Like, this really just happened again. Like, you really went in there, and all of the derp came right back in Pittsburgh, and it all continued the exact same way it always does. The big picture, yeah, the defense was a lot better, right? Like, and if that's a sign, then that's really positive. Now, do I know that? They need to get Roquan Smith back, because the guy that showed up today looked like Roquan Smith, after the guy that we had seen for much of the season hadn't looked like Roquan Smith. He looked himself. So Roquan Smith's hamstring becomes a serious part of this story. Tre'Davious White, a lot of us were extraordinarily dismissive of the Tre'Davious White acquisition. Tre'Davious White was massive today, to the point where he looks like he deserves more opportunities to be on the field and locked up. That all being said, I think what Femi said, I sent a tweet earlier today, which I think people are reading as like I'm saying today is Lamar Jackson's fault. And that's the problem with Twitter and why it's such a hellscape. I don't think today was Lamar Jackson's fault at all. But I think there was more that Lamar Jackson could have done in certain situations. And I think the day required that. And I think that's the nature of what we're sort of dealing with now when it comes to Lamar Jackson. There's no debate about his greatness. He's great. But these are the games that will define whether or not he goes down as like the most talented quarterback and one of the better quarterbacks of an era, or more definitively like the best quarterback of an era and the best quarterback. And these are the days when there are opportunities in front of you. Femi pointed out there were 2 plays in the first half where there was lots of running room in front of him, and he just didn't want to take it, had no interest in that. And I don't, there's a million reasons. There's psychological reasons. There's, hey, it's Pittsburgh. They're physical. It's there. You got to make those plays and allow yourself to give that opportunity for like 4th and 1, and maybe you go for it in that spot instead of settling for a long field goal. KZ, I'm going to push back on, no, you're not getting rid of Justin Tucker tomorrow. I get it. I'm pissed too. It's not happening. Like that's insane.
I didn't say get rid of him, but we talked about this for a while now. And we're like, he deserves grace and he deserves this, and you're not getting rid of him this season, and you shouldn't bring another kicker in. I'm sorry, you got to bring another kicker in. It's not good enough. It's causing you to have problems. Wait a minute. Let me just finish this one thing. I have seen team after team after team this year bring in kickers that are nailing 50-yarders that are on the street the week before. I get it. He's a Hall of Famer. I don't say this with joy, with ease, but the fact that we're saying, well, it is what it is. That can't be the answer anymore for me. It just
KZ,
can't.
can I?
Sure,
Can I?
anytime.
So I agree with KZ now. Like it's so fucking bad. Yeah, I do. No, I have a right.
I thought I was gonna have to provide pushback. Please go on.
No.
This is awesome.
I agree. It's so fucking bad now. It's so terrible now. No, I agree. Like this is a game you could have won with all the other stuff. You could have won this game today, but he's missing kicks now that everybody else is making, and I don't care how it sounds. It's a production-oriented business, and guess what? I'm a former player. I've lost my job for less. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't care at this point. Like, the bottom line is they're too undisciplined. The things that should be gimmies are no longer gimmies, and every 1%, 2% matters at this point. So, as I always tell you guys, like, I live in a world where I write things down in pencil. Like, nothing's in pen. And I know I was the one running the ship, saying that, like, hey, he's not going anywhere. Like, you're going to bring somebody in. It's going to be next year. You pull him into the office. You talk to him. You have a conversation. Like, you have time right now. If John Harbaugh can fire Cam Cameron in week 12, you can replace your kicker in week 12. You know what I mean? Like, it's a legitimate thing. And the bottom line is that it takes a lot of balls and guts to do that. But what are you losing at this point? Like, he's cost you a couple games. He really has. And I know who he is, and I know what he is. He's a Hall of Famer. But right now, if you care about winning a Super Bowl this year, if you care about being a playoff team, like, you are a wild card team right now. You're not even going to win the division probably at this point. Like, that's where we are right now. You're 2 games behind the division leader. What are you going to do? And now I'm open to all the decisions, all the choices. Everything I said before was based on where we were at that time. We're somewhere else now. We're in a way more vulnerable, way more illusory position. So it's all about being in a production-oriented business, and that's where I'm at today. And yeah, it's real.
I get it.
Sorry,
I'm gonna go to Reeta in 1 second. Here's the only thing I'll say in pushback is, if there was any world in which I could have faith in one of these guys that you're bringing in off the street, I would listen to the argument. But you're not going to have faith in that guy either. Could they be better? Maybe. But you're going to have
no. You're not going to have faith. No. You're not going to have faith. I don't know. You're talking for yourself right now because you don't know who the guy is.
Right.
You don't know what he's done. And no. Stop.
But who is that guy? No. Who is that guy?
It doesn't matter. There's guys off the street right now that are doing better. Anything at this point might be better. You're not listening.
Might be. No, I can hear you.
No, based on the numbers, it is. Based on what's happened across the league, it is better.
Well, I don't know.
Worse.
Multiple kickers missed kicks inside 30 yards today around the NFL. Kicking was great at the start of the season. Kicking has not been good besides Chris Boswell.
I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about the whole fucking season, bro.
Right. The last couple of weeks have been bad, kicking-wise. The last couple of weeks in the NFL have been bad.
I'm talking about Justin Tucker.
I agree with that.
It's been bad.
Right.
It's been bad.
I don't know who it is that I'm lining up next week that I'm going to trust is going to make a 55-yard kick that's available on the street right now.
Who you're going to trust and who's actually better are two different things. My point is that it can't be any worse than it is right now. It can't. Look. He missed 2 field goals today.
I know.
An extra point last week. It cannot be any worse. You need to let go of whatever you're feeling emotionally.
It's not about that. It's not about that because it's not at all. It's that I know that there's not. This is kicking in the NFL, man. If you were talking
I'm watching the same shit you're watching. I don't agree with you.
2 weeks into the season.
I'm watching guys pull people off the street that are doing better than our kicker right now. I'm watching it happen in real time. Every week, this guy did this guy did that. This guy made a 60-yard field goal. Look at the numbers. Don't look at the numbers long view. Like, take off your and I'm the purplest wearing, purplest drinking, purplest
that is true. That part is a fact.
Ever going to be. So I'm being real right now. It's hard for me to say this. I'm just being fucking
But
honest.
what I'm
okay?
saying has nothing to do with Justin Tucker. Both things can be true. I have no
No,
faith in Justin Tucker right now at
all
all.
I'm talking about is Justin Tucker right now. That's all I'm talking
Right.
about.
I'm saying
I'm talking about lining up for a field goal. Do you have any faith in a field goal right now? Let's be honest. Every time I don't even have faith in an extra point right now.
Glenn, he's Craig Kimbrell at this point.
it's not that. Now we're just saying things. He made a
it is
54-yard kick
he's
today.
been that bad.
No, you're saying things. He made a 54-yard kick today. He's
And
not Craig
Kimbrell occasionally
Kimbrell.
got a
I
step in
agree.
that. He's blowing
it's not
saves,
okay.
is what he's doing.
No. He missed a 47-yard field goal today. He missed.
I'm aware.
He's missed field goals that he's never missed. He's missing field goals that he does in his sleep right now.
I'm gonna pull this up. Let's stop for a second and let Reeta have a word.
Right now, real quickly. Of all the starting field goal kickers right now, where does Justin Tucker rank? In the top 32, where does he rank? My guess is he's like 34. Is my guess. I'm saying that.
I will try to come up with that answer. I will try to get that. Reeta, your turn.
I'm not going to be here much. I'm not going to be here long because I can't talk. I'm dealing with a cold right now. So I don't have it in me to argue. Justin Tucker's done. I don't know how else to say that to y'all. I felt that way 6 weeks ago. And I didn't want to say that because obviously there's reason to believe that as the season goes on, you believe that a guy can get better. But I never felt like he was going to get better. I always felt like that Justin Tucker was going to be a shell of himself. And today confirmed what I knew 6 weeks ago, which was he's a shell of himself. I don't know what the Ravens do from here. All I know is that we've heard stories about guys like the Detroit Lions kicker come off of, I don't know, working in fucking insurance and make game-winning kicks. And what we've seen from Justin Tucker is unacceptable. And the Ravens have problems, of course. Today was not the defense's problem. Today was Justin Tucker's problem, and today was the offense's problem. And Justin Tucker took 6 points off of the board that essentially, in hindsight, would have won the football game. And all I know is that he didn't make those. And that's a problem. And I don't know how you move forward saying that you have confidence in Justin Tucker without bringing in somebody to light a fire under his ass. We're no longer at the point of having Justin Tucker figure it out. This was week 11. So next week is week 12. They only have 18 weeks. They have 6 weeks, and he has yet to figure it out. So all I know is that Justin Tucker, in my opinion, this is my opinion, is done. He's done. And they need to figure out what they need to do to move forward from this point on. And that's where I stand with that.
So real quick, 2 things. One, I got no problem with bringing somebody in. I suggested a week ago they should bring somebody in. It's the difference between bringing somebody in and just letting somebody go. Those 2 things I'm separating on. Like, the league average for made kicks is still barely above 80% this season. It's not as good as you think it is. It is not a good.
Hey, Glenn, stop, dude. We've been watching the Ravens. I don't give a fuck about the other teams. We're watching the Ravens. We're watching Justin Tucker.
I understand.
It's not good enough. No, listen, I've been on your side this whole time, and you're not going to just like pick and cherry pick stuff and decide how you want to do it. No, it's not good enough. We watched it all season. No, let me talk. Kansas City, Raiders, this games that we could have won just based on field goals. It's not good enough anymore. I'm a former player. You know how hard it is for me to say this? It's hard to say this. It's hard. But today was absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. Not only are you missing field goals, you're giving the other team an advantage in field position. And that field position led to points, and it led to a loss. 3 losses based on field goal kicks. Kansas City, the Raiders, and today. And actually all of them. Cleveland too. Remember? All of it. No, I am not going to sit here and do this anymore. I'm done with it. No, I'm done. I'm a former player. I know what it's like to lose your job when you're not playing well anymore. It is time. We don't care. It's a production-oriented business. And this is the thing. No, hear me out. One more thing I'm going to say is this. You need to make it serious. You need, and I'm agreeing with you on one thing, Glenn, one thing. You're not going to cut him. I'm not saying to cut him. That's not what I'm saying. But it's not good enough anymore. You need to do something different. And what I said last week was, you're not going to bring anybody in this year. You're not. You're just not. It's him, and you're going to ride or die. I said that. I said that. But you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to say, guess what? Yes, he's your kicker still, but you're going to bring somebody else in, absolutely, and you're going to put a little bit more pressure on. That's the nuance that I'm making. That's all I want to say.
And I'm completely on board with that. I am utterly and completely on board with not pretending like there isn't something going on. To be fair, we still have to talk about the other ends of the operation, like even the 54-yarder that was made, which was a terrible snap.
Don't get it twisted. You've been watching too much ESPN. Don't let the snap fool you on. Oh, no. I watch snaps. No. The misses are all pulled left.
I agree with that.
So hear me out. Hear me out. No, don't listen to all that bullshit. No, we are not going to blame it on the snapper because no snap is perfect. No hold is perfect. We have guys making 60-yard field goals on unperfect snaps every freaking weekend. It's not about the snap. It's not about the hold. It's about the kicker kicking it through the fucking goalpost. That's what it's about. And I've been watching this. I've been hearing, oh, it wasn't perfect. It was tilted. It was leaning back. No, go back and watch all Justin Tucker's kicks. No snap is going to be perfectly vertical on time. He's pulling everything left. It is a technical problem that he has yet to solve. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've heard all the excuses for it. No, there's no excuses. You're supposed to be the best that's ever done it. You got to figure it out. And this is not about the holder or the snapper, because the kick that he made was the worst hold and the worst snap. The ones that he missed were actually perfect. How do you explain that?
No, I get it. It's weird today. I'm saying that in this scenario, you're taking X kicker and just putting him in. And that's not what you're saying, to be fair.
It's been weird for weeks.
I'm saying that in the scenario where you just put in kicker X, who we're hoping can just drill a 60-yarder, you end up getting Joshua Carty of the Rams, who missed a 26-yard field goal today.
You cannot use the worst case scenario and act as if that is going to be the outcome.
Right, but we can't use the best case scenario either.
I didn't use the best case. I'm using the actual real case. You're using the worst case. I haven't used any case. What I'm saying is that if you look at Justin Tucker right now, where does he rank amongst NFL kickers? Somebody pull up PFF right now, because we're not going to sit here and make shit up. I'm not going to let that shit happen right now. Pull up PFF right now, and you tell me where Justin Tucker ranks in kicking right now in the NFL. He's probably 34.
I'm just trying to pull up. Unfortunately, some of these guys, it's more like of guys that are regular kickers, he's like 27.
Okay, fine.
That's not good.
I agree.
That's not good.
Okay, so
I agree.
Okay, so I said 34. You act like he's number 10 or something.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You're thinking that I'm defending Justin Tucker.
You
I'm
are.
not, Femi. I'm not at all. I'm saying the next guy might be shit. That's the part that I'm saying.
It doesn't matter. He's better. He might be better than 27 though.
Glenn, here's the one thing I know about the Ravens. I don't trust them normally to draft many things, but if they go out and sign a kicker, there are kickers that have come into the Ravens organization all around this league. I will trust them to find a guy that can make kicks. In the
offseason, I have all of the faith in that. In doing it in the middle of the year, I'm giving you, bring someone in, but pretending like bringing someone in off the street is going to give you Jake Bates. No one has been pulling off the street this year that's suddenly become a Pro Bowl ever kicker.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. There's so many guys.
He didn't get pulled in the middle of the season, Rita. He was signed in the offseason. That's what they should do to find a kicker.
The 49ers just signed the guy.
Yes, and they already got rid of him.
It's because the regular kicker came back.
And because they didn't think he was good.
Wow. All right. You know what?
Okay.
You know what we're going to do right now? I'm in San Diego visiting my family. I'm going to fucking drop this call right now. I'm just fucking done, dude. Like, seriously, I'm done. Listen, let me tell you something right now. I'm not going to sit here and defend anybody at this point. We're 7-4. We should probably be 10-1, and this is not on Lamar. And they're an undisciplined team with a fucking terrible kicker right now. Bottom line, that's what it is. And I love Justin Tucker. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. But the bottom line is that if you can fire Cam Cameron in week 12 or 13 and win a Super Bowl, you can do anything at this point. That's my point. You can do anything. Okay. Are you going to tell me that you can fire Glenn? I'm talking to you right now. I want you to answer this question.
Yes.
You can fire Cam Cameron and bring in someone else and make them the offense coordinator, win a Super Bowl, and you can't replace your kicker? That's
nobody's saying you can't do it.
I'm asking you a question.
I'm saying bring someone in this week. My point is actually the same as yours, which is you don't just get rid of him for the fun of getting rid of him.
Nobody said that though.
Nobody said that.
That's how this started. Is KZ said that? That was my point. That's what I'm fighting back about.
Okay, well, KZ is going to
I'm
be
not
on the
KZ,
deep end
though.
of things, and we know this.
I'm talking about what I'm saying. You've yet to answer the points that I'm making. Let me go. Hey, give me Reeta and KZ. Give me a moment, please. Give me a moment. Let me refresh everything that I said 30 minutes ago. Okay. You open the game with a fumble. You have a holding call. You're behind the sticks. 3rd and 6 on defense. You jump off sides. It didn't end up costing you, but it was just bad discipline. You miss a field goal. You have a block in the back on the return. You're behind the sticks again. You miss another field goal. You have a holding call. You have a false start. You have a fumble. You have a holding on defense. Hands to the face on defense on 3rd down. They have Zay offsides. You have Zay drop a pass to hit him in the face. Ineligible downfield on a 30-yard catch. And then you have another fumble. Yes, I know that's not all Justin Tucker. I understand that. And maybe the way that my energy is probably my frustration on multiple levels. But the thing that you always counted on was Justin Tucker would be the knight in shining armor. He would always come through. And he has not come through at all this season, is my point. Okay. Do I still think the ceiling is high? Absolutely. Do I still think we're a playoff team? Yes. Are we more in jeopardy than we've ever been all season? Yes, we are, as of today. And if I agree with all that. And if I'm looking, and guess what? The defense, man, they showed up today. They really did. Now, were they undisciplined in certain circumstances? Yes, they were. Fine. But in regard to playing defense, dude, Adafe had a hell of a day today. But the penalties and the turnovers, missed field goals. Those 3 things, if you eliminate any one of them, you win the game. And the easiest thing for me to point out that has time for you to focus and get into your flow state is the field goals. Some of the penalties, like, they're happening so fast. Like, no one's trying to grab a face mask. Nobody's trying to hold. But in real time, it's really hard to be like, oh, I'm not going to hold right now. I'm not going to do this right now. I'm not going to let a ball hit me in the face mask right now. Those are things that are happening so fast. But the easy thing, in my opinion, is there's going to be a snap and a hold in the kick. And I'm watching kicks to the left miss all the time. At some point, you've got to make the tough decisions. And Glenn, we're on the same page. You're not going to cut him or fire him. And I never said that. I don't know who said that. I never said that. I still have never said that. I said that next year you bring in competition next year. Right. You pull him in. You have a very serious conversation, and you let him know before you let the public know, before you let the media know, this is what our plan is going forward. But right now, I'm throwing all that out the window now. I'm just saying that right now, that's off the table. Everything's on the table now, for now. So do you and I agree on that?
I got no issue. And as I said before, if there was a kicker that you scouted last year that you loved, sign him to the practice squad tomorrow. Do that. If there was a kicker that's still out there that you, to your point, KZ, because they do scout kickers, if there was one that you really liked that's sitting out there, sign him to the practice squad tomorrow. My issue goes back to, if there was a high-level guy available, I would say go get that guy. That guy's not available. There's a bunch of street free agents that are available, and I'm not going to trust them either. But it's only a small part of the picture, as Femi just brought up. Make your trip to the game easy by saving the Easy Pass way for tolls. Go to driveeasymd.com. That's driveeasymd.com. We have not even discussed the 2-point conversion yet. I don't know.
Wow, you're right. Terrible play call.
I don't even know what it's supposed to be.
It was supposed to be what they did against Cincinnati last week. That's what it was supposed to be. But this is not the Cincinnati defense.
But nobody was there.
It was the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and you thought that you could do what you did last week, and you couldn't do what you did last week. And that's what makes this whole thing funny to me, because why did you think you could do the same thing that you did last week? It literally was to the same side and everything, friend. It was supposed to be the same play. And
But there's got to be a
I
receiver
don't even
there.
know why you even
If they
tried
cut if they are able to get there
I
has
don't
to be a
disagree with
receiver
you.
there.
Yeah,
I agree with
I
you.
don't think it was a I don't think it wasn't a pass play. So remember they
It was not
came
supposed
out
to be a
and
pass
Right.
play,
then
for sure.
Pittsburgh called the timeout, and all the Ravens did was flip the play to the other side. Like they were going to run it to the right, and then Pittsburgh called the timeout and decided to run it to the left. Like I totally agree that it was not the right call. Sometimes like you just get too cute. You know what I mean? We've talked about this, but I'm not gonna boil this down to the 2-point play. It would have been awesome if they connected on it and made it work, but there are so many things that went wrong before that I honestly I can't get too upset about the 2-point play. 2-point plays are what, like 50%? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, in that range, yes.
and last week you won a game on a 2-point play. This week you lost a game on a 2-point. So yeah, I'm gonna be pretty neutral on that. Like there's so many things that happened before that irritated me.
I
many
agree.
decisions before that. And when you lose the turnover battle, was it 2-1? The chances of you winning are like 19, 15%, maybe even lower. Like you're not going to win a game when you basically are -2. You know what I mean? You're not.
I agree with that part. They deserve to lose the football game. I think the issue that people have with why are you running a 2-point conversion with Derrick Henry not on the field is a very fair. Like that's supposed to be the most indefensible combination of players.
Totally agree.
Yep. Why would you have?
I've been arguing about this shit for weeks, dog. Every time they get inside the 20, I don't understand why they don't have Derrick Henry out there to begin with. So this has been my argument. This has been my argument for weeks. I don't understand. I know that we have an affinity for Justice Hill. I'm not sitting here and I'm not arguing it. But when you get inside the 20, Derrick Henry needs to be out there. And for whatever reason, I don't understand why.
Well,
Derrick
Reeta,
Henry
can I nuance it? Like from the 20,
that's fine.
From the 20 to the 10, he's not out there. But when they're inside the 10, he is out there. Like, cause I mean, he has a touchdown in every game. So like, there's a nuance there. So
you're not
when they
wrong.
get inside,
you're not wrong.
Just hear me out. No, when they're inside the 20, like there's a package that goes. So there's like the gold zone, which is like the 25-yard line to like the 15, right? And then there's the red zone, which is the 20-yard line in. I don't have an issue, honestly. They're the number one offense in the NFL. They're the number one scoring offense in the NFL. Like this is not about points. Like they score points. What the issue is the nuance between what to do and when and how and who should be out there. I agree with you on that. And overall, though, what they've been doing has worked because they would be number one in all these categories if it hasn't worked. So I have to like give them some grace in regard to the larger macro performance. They are doing what they're supposed to do. Today, I'm with you on the play call and the personnel on that particular play. But overall, I don't have an issue. That's where I like differ. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. And I think that because they are the number one offense, we tend to give them a lot of grace. And where I stand, because while yes, they are the number one offense, I think that because they're the number one offense, a lot of times we feel like we can't make arguments for certain things. And I'm talking about other people. I'm not talking about anybody here on this platform. I'm talking about just generally speaking, because they are the number one offense. I think that we let a lot of things slide. And for me, I feel like that there are things that I feel like that they could be better at, even though they're the number one offense. And to me, a lot of times I feel like Derrick Henry should be in specific situations because he commands so much attention. And I feel like it makes them even more potent of an offense. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But in this position, like for the 2-point conversion, I just don't understand why he's not out there. But I've clamored for Derrick Henry lots of times. You know what I'm saying? So this is just where I stand with where they are specifically and how I feel like I understand what we were told from Harbaugh early on in the season about how they were going to use Derrick Henry. And I'm not suggesting that Derrick Henry should run the ball 30 times. I'm not suggesting that at all. I just think that the dynamics change so much when you have him inside at the 20 in the red zone and moving forward that I don't understand why he's not there. Even if he's not running the football, I just don't understand why he's not there. And that's where my problem lies with this offense. I feel like that there are so many things that they could untap, and yet they find ways to not untap them, and it irritates me. And then it comes back to bite them in the ass later when they don't utilize him the way that they should. So that's just kind of where I stand with the usage of Derrick Henry, even if you're using him as a decoy per se.
Real quick, experience the thrill of live betting with the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. Green Turtle Sportsbooks, the ultimate destination for game day excitement in-person betting. John Harbaugh did not give an update about Roquan Smith in his press conference after the game. I have no idea whether that's good or bad. Typically when you know immediately that someone suffered an injury that's season ending, they tend to say that pretty quickly. Like they don't tend to sit on that and hide it. So, if you want to take that as good, you can take that as good. But yeah, you'd like to know something. As again, that guy showed up today. Unlike,
Yeah, I think he's fine. Honestly, I think it's like a Kyle Hamilton situation from Mike last week. Where being precautionary.
yeah,
you don't have him on the sideline just sitting there
hanging
like
out.
standing. Yeah, if something is wrong. So
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't.
Just my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong, but
No. I think that's good insight. I think that's good insight. Add on to it, a lot is being made, and Griffin put it up earlier about apparently Marlon Humphrey left the field before all the knees have been taken. Apparently he said that he thought the Ravens were out of timeouts and they still had one left, and so he just left the field to play early because he was frustrated. I'm not. I can't. I don't know how to make a controversy out of that. I think we're just trying. We're picking at straws because
good for him. He knew that the timeout being called by Harps was stupid anyway, so he left. Okay.
I mean, what? What do you mean? The
he
last one?
Timeout after what do you call?
You would beat him. You still. I understand what you're saying, but because if somebody fumbles the knee, you have to call the timeout and make them do it. Ken, we all know that it's 90.9.999, but you call the timeout anyway and make them go through the motion. You're frustrated about something else, and you're taking it out on that.
No, I'm not.
He still should have said. He should have said that.
I'm just saying. It's like he's like running. It's first down. It's over.
We all know that. We all understand that, but you still do it. You're mad at something else, and I get it.
I'm not mad at something else. I'm giving Marlon a pass. He was thinking like I was. Like, game's over. Let's get out of here.
KZ, you know what? That's why your ass sitting on here the post game with us.
That's bad sportsmanship.
Listen.
Look.
I can't do a lot of talking, y'all. So I am going to make this short, and then I'm gonna get out of here because I'm not contributing to this post game at all. Marlon Humphrey left early, and I think that's unacceptable. Even if the explanation that he's going to make is going to be what it is. At the end of the day, the Ravens have a kicking problem. At the end of the day, the Ravens have a problem they have a mental problem against the Steelers, because I've literally watched other teams move on the Steelers, and for whatever reason, the Ravens are mentally inept when it comes to the Steelers. I don't think that this is an offensive problem. I think this is a Ravens problem. I just want to say that because I can't say much more. But Marlon Humphrey is full of shit. I want to say that. He's full of shit. And also I want to say that the Ravens, I think, will absolutely learn from this. And then next week, LA is going to have a real fucking problem. But today they got to sit in this because you've allowed this to happen. You've allowed this to happen for, what is this, eight of nine? You've allowed this to happen for 8 of 9, and they're not better than you, but you've allowed to believe that they are better than you for whatever fucking reason. So I just want to say that because I don't know how much I have in me to speak. But I want to say I love y'all, and I'm going to give my voice a rest. I'm going to stay on here, but, that's all I have to contribute to this post game. So there.
You was at the game?
Absolutely not, Fred. I'm not at the game, but I'm dealing with a cold. I'm dealing with a cold, and so it's really messing with me. And I've been dealing with a cold for a couple of days now, so that's why it's like hard for me to talk. But this is a Ravens problem, and that's where I stand with that. Mike Tomlin knows how to get his guys ready, and I feel like that's sometimes John Harbaugh don't know how to get his guys ready, and they don't know how to mentally get over the hump because they're not because Steelers aren't better than them. They're not. And that's just where I stand. So that's all I have to contribute.
Hey, Glenn. Yeah, I agree with Reeta. I agree with Reeta. I'm gonna drop the star too. Actually.
All right, buddy. All right. You're good. Thank you. Appreciate you. That's our Super Bowl champion, Femi Ayanbadejo, with us here on the Project Game Day post-game show. I hear, Trippy, what you're saying. I just don't care enough about whether Marlon Humphrey stays on the field for It's the type of stuff that just doesn't matter to me. I don't care if another player does it on another team. Like, are you right? You're probably right, but I don't give it. I'll never care. I'll never, it doesn't have anything to do with the result of a football game. I will never be burdened by whether or not someone sticks around and goes out there and shakes everybody's hands or not. He says afterwards, you know what? I'm a sore loser. Fine. Like what does that have to do with the likelihood of a team winning a Super Bowl? I can't care. I feel like it's a strange thing that we obsess over. I think there are real things that are worth obsessing over, like, you know, committing 12 penalties for 80 yards.
Right.
Like that's worth being worked up about. Whether or not Lamar Jackson's on the field at the end of the game to trade jerseys with someone, I'll never care. I'll never in my life care about that, and I'll never care if anyone from any other team does that. Like win or lose, that's the part that matters to me. A few things, boy, and I'll dive into the comments in one second. The other thing about the 2 point, oh man, I guess I should have ran this by Femi before Femi had to dip. The other part that was weird about the 2 point conversion is you could see that there was confusion between Aguilar and Likely right at the start of that play. And it's a fine line between, I actually love the fact that the Ravens were able to go down and score without using any of their timeouts because it built them a plan B to try to win the game. But you can see, let me make sure, that's Aguilar, right, on the other side of Likely? Yeah, it's 100%. The two of them are going back and forth, and something seems to be off. And that's where I'm very torn as to whether or not they should have simply taken the timeout and said, hey, if that costs us our plan B, it costs us our plan B, because that's the way that it goes. This is plan A all along, and it's far too important to clearly be having an issue before the play where those two guys, you could tell immediately, were jostling back and forth, and I barely even got set before the ball was snapped. My gut. Oh, are you running it? Trying to run it, Griffin?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you only see the play part. You don't really see the interaction.
Yeah, you don't see the
beforehand.
pre-snap.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though. I was saying the same thing. Like something didn't seem right, but I thought maybe. I mean, I don't know. I just felt like Derrick Henry should have still been in there, like no
Well, yeah.
matter what. Like,
Yeah, we're all on the same page. We're all. It's insane.
but it's
that Derrick
like,
Henry.
I mean, I mean, I don't really know, Glenn, man. It's just like I'm tired, man. Like I really am, because like it's the same old sugar honey iced tea. You feel me? Like we always beat ourselves. Like then when we lose, and here we go, we trying to make big plays. Now we getting a little spot, and then boom, it's always something. Then there's something about this 65, right? Because it's not the first time it happened. I think it happened damn near every game since he started. He always like downfield. Like I don't know if that's something they need to work on, but like it's just crazy. Like who would have thought like the defense played great today? I'm not even gonna lie to you, they played great. 6 field goals, they played great, and the offense played like what shit. Like if you want to be honest with you, and it's like it's sad because us Raven fans, we kept saying, "Wow, the offense doing all this and that," and look what the defense doing. Even when even when Roquan Smith went down, I was a little worried when Malik Harrison was in there. But at the same time, we still held our own. And it's like, we still lost. You feel what I'm saying? And then the way how we lost, like, why not put Derrick Henry in the game? Even if we weren't going to give Derrick Henry the ball, it could have still at least opened up something as though, you know, a play action fake, something. Lamar could have ran it in anything. But the Steelers even gave us a chance to do something. You know what I mean? But I don't get it, man. Shout out to Mike Tomlin. One thing I can say about that coach, he coaches boys up, and it's just saying like when it's time for these big games, like against the Chiefs and the Steelers, it's just saying like we always outcoach. And I get what Reeta was saying, like, yeah, we're gonna learn from this, but it's like how many times we gotta keep saying that? Like these teams not gonna bow down to us, especially when we know like this was for the number 1 seed. So now it's looking like it might be a wild card. You know what I mean? So
a couple things. A couple people in the comments brought that up. Femi brought it up earlier. The idea that the division is over because of this, I'm not joining you guys there. You have a game in hand. The idea that the Steelers is going to run the table in the rest of their games, like I get it. That's a well-coached team, and they win in the margins. But the idea that they're so good that they're going to run the table, I mean, I can't give you that. Now
I mean, yeah, I'm not giving you that, but if you look at like, see, and this is what I was saying to some Raven fans at the beginning of the season. Like when we started off 0-2, yes, I was going through it, but see, I was thinking about the conference losses, right? Then we lost to the Browns, another conference loss. Now we lost to the Steelers, that's another conference loss, right? But now, as we lost to the Browns and the Steelers, now we're looking in the division, right? Yes, it's still a way we can win the division, right? But now I'm looking at like I'm just being real, like we got like 3 games in 10 days coming up. The Browns, Steelers, Texans, something like that. I mean, or the Steelers, Texas. I forgot how it is, but you see what I'm saying? It's still a little tough stretch. And I'm just looking at it like that. Like, just to be honest with you, like, not to get my hopes up, but I mean, I feel what you're saying, though. Like, I'm not just saying they're going to win. They're just going to dominate, but it's just right now, we should just only have one L right now to the Chiefs. But
I tend to agree with all those things. I do, Trippy. I tend to agree with most of that. All that being said, there's a lot going on here, and I'm going to dive into the comments a little bit. The one of you that just wants me to say to fire John Harbaugh after every loss, again, KZ can do that. Like I for whatever, we have an obsession in this town with whenever anything happens, just fire the coach. We're boring. It's boring. And to the point, you want me to say something that matters? This could be defining. If this continues and they lose again to the Steelers and they fall short again in the playoffs, you'll have your answer. John Harbaugh should be fired at that point. Yes. But this bit that we do where one game, every time you lose a game, that's the end of the season. That's the defining moment. It's boring. You're boring. You don't bring anything to the table. We'll talk about it when we get there, if we get there. If that happens, I'm on board. We'll have the conversation. But this notion,
I haven't called for it this year,
which is bizarre. I can't believe, I don't know what world we're living in that you haven't suggested that yet. It's just boring. Like, I don't know. It's this sick, perverted obsession that everything will feel better the moment you fire someone. That will solve everything. I don't know where.
Plus, even to be honest with you, even if because I'm getting tired of that too. Like, even if we do that, like, who can come in and take over the team? Like
stop that. No. Wait a minute, Trippy. Did you know who John Harbaugh was before he was hired?
He was a special teams coach.
You didn't know who he was. Nobody knew. They were saying, "Oh, some guy who's the special teams guy from Philadelphia." Nobody knew who he was. So the argument for me. And I'm not calling for him to be fired, but let's not play the other side of it either. That who are you going to bring? Who are you going to bring in? Well, you're going to interview a bunch of people, and you're going to determine who the next "quote unquote" John Harbaugh is to lead your franchise.
No, but I think what Glenn's saying though is that's not today. That's a thing in the off season.
Correct.
And I get that.
Right. That's right. But I'm saying like fans, like I guarantee, right, when I get off with y'all and I go on the Twitter space, it's going to be a lot of fans saying, fire Harbaugh now. My thing is, right, us as fans, we want to win a Super Bowl, right? And we still have a chance to win a Super Bowl. So us firing Harbaugh, I get what you're saying though, but who can possibly come over and like take over the team? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of it is coaching, but a lot of it is on the players. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, like, that's why I was upset, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I love when players do podcasts and stuff like that. But when you got other players from other teams laughing at our players, like making jokes at our defense and stuff like that, that's when I get frustrated. Now you show up. You know what I mean? They should be out there hitting people in the mouth. Us Raven fans, we can make fun of Patrick Queen all we want to, right? He went to the Steelers, right? Guess what? He did his job today, right? It is what it is. Like, players should have showed up today. 99 showed up. It's like you see certain sparks here and there, but it's like it's not gelling all the way. Like 60 minutes. That's why I always tell people it ain't the first 48, 60 minutes. You see what I'm saying? You got to dominate 60 minutes. And we dominate. I mean, I ain't gonna say we dominated for 60 minutes, but we was in the game for 60 minutes. But it's just the little things that kill us. And I don't think it's always on the coaching, because at the end of the day, the coach ain't out there. We can go back to the Chiefs game. Isaiah lightly told. Was that Harbaugh fault? No.
Well, and it's easy to do that today because blanket wise, and I think Andrew, you said it earlier that it falls back on coaching. Because yes, in general, I can say that, but when we say that, we're also absolving of 60 things that happened during the course of the game, right? Like,
Exactly.
obviously, John Harbaugh didn't call the play where you missed the field goal. Like, you know, like these types of things. I'm befuddled by the 2-point conversion play. I don't know what the hell the thought process was. I can't come up with it. But I also can't say that that was the defining. Other than this, you would have won the game. Like,
Right.
I can't go there. This is the tough part that I have with it. Do I think, and to go again, just because it's what everybody's talking about in the comments, in no world am I suggesting that Justin Tucker's been good enough. He hasn't been, period. My entire point is the trade deadline's gone. Like, with the comparison to Craig Kimbrell, you had the opportunity to upgrade at closer. Now you're talking
Right.
about just doing anything else and hoping. And could it work? Maybe. But that's what you're suggesting you're going to throw your Super Bowl hopes on, is just doing anything else. Anything. And who knows? Maybe it'll work, which is what you do when you're pissed off and you're frustrated. And I get it. Like, we're all pissed off and we're all frustrated. Every single one of us. But thinking that's a responsible way to go about deciding how you're going to win a Super Bowl is one thing when you don't think you have a kicker to begin with. I don't know where we are. It might very well be that Justin Tucker's done, cooked. It's over. That's totally possible. I don't know. But considering that this could all hinge on another kick, telling me that I'm supposed to have confidence in a guy that was kicking at Central Michigan last year that's never made a meaningful kick in his life,
Right.
that's a bridge too far for me to say, make the move tomorrow. I can't do that. But put him on your practice squad. Like, be there, be aware. I get it.
When do you make the move, Glenn?
I
get it. It's too far for you, and understand what I opened the show with. Like, they just have to bring in competition. We've been talking about this for weeks, and like I mentioned Femi. Femi said, you sit him down and I said, I'm over that now. You got to bring somebody in to bring him competition. You're not cutting him. I agree with that, but I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. So maybe there is a guy that's bagging groceries right now that it just needs the chance, and have them have a competition during the week and see if something can happen.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know, but to me, just because you can't just keep on doing the same thing you've been doing.
There's
It's
a fine
not good
line for
enough.
that, right? Like, maybe there is. I don't know, and I don't know how much a competition during the week ends up being valuable, right? Like,
I don't know either.
If it's someone without any experience, kicking a ball on a Wednesday in Owings Mills will not have anything to do with what that will look like if you're kicking the ball in Pittsburgh and in the playoffs, right? Like,
But
you can't replicate that.
No, there's not. But the example is that, for example, Kansas City has a new kicker because their
Yes,
kicker
Harrison
got
Butker's hurt, right?
Okay. So they picked a guy that they had scouted, that I believe they had in camp, that was on the Jets practice squad. Okay. Maybe there's somebody, I don't know who the Ravens had in camp this year. I didn't pay that much attention to it this year.
Nobody.
Okay, but they always have another kicker in camp. But is there somebody you scouted that maybe you didn't have in camp, but is sitting on somebody else's practice squad that you can sign to bring in right now for the week, and then see what happens? You don't have to. He doesn't have to go to the active roster. I don't think. You can cut him right away. But I just, the time to just say, well, Justin Tucker is our kicker and we're going to live and die with him is over for me.
I get it. I completely get that. Again, it was very nuanced and we got lost up in the yelling. The nuance is, like, I'm in agreement, but that agreement isn't he's gone tomorrow. That agreement is, to your point, I agree, bring somebody in. Now, I still don't know, as good as that person looks, that I want them. To me, it's you're signing someone to the practice squad, and these are the final weeks. Like, this is it's going to be figured out in the next 2 weeks, or it's over. Like, it's
last question, because I know
and part of it would be, Ken, like, the reason why I'm not doing it today is because you're not fighting for your playoff life today. Like, if you were sitting at where the Bengals are, then maybe I'm more inclined to go ahead and just say the hell with it. But you're not fighting for your playoff life. You still can use the next few weeks to figure out if it can still work out before the season is over.
So let me ask you one question, and I know what my feeling is right now, but unnamed signed person comes to the street and whatever, and you said, I don't know who that is. I'm not going to have much faith in them.
Mhm.
That's fine. Do you have as much faith in them as you have right now when just a kicker goes
Yeah.
to try a 49-yard
Oh,
field goal?
it's very middle of the road. Yeah, I get it.
Like I have, because right now, unless he's inside 40, I'm nervous on any kick. I'm
I get
nervous
it.
on extra points.
I completely understand.
So that's my only pushback on that with that is like, I don't know how good that guy is and if he's going to be able to do it, but it's like, I don't have any confidence in the guy that is doing it.
Yeah. So a couple more things. Lamar Jackson did confirm that it was a design QB run. I just don't know why that's your call. I don't know why that's your call. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Can I say something regarding the
even
coaching in that respect too? Because like you talked about the coaching, and I get that we're not in the fire John Harbaugh tomorrow. That's ridiculous. But like
Right.
these are building blocks to like these are all points against. And the other thing that is really, really bugging me is the penalty thing. Like this is the most penalized team in football, and that is all down to discipline and coaching. Like they are not a buttoned up team, and between calls like that, and I know that's not directly on John Harbaugh, but like it all falls under the umbrella, and obviously everything rolls uphill when it comes to these kinds of things. Those kinds of play calls which don't make sense, and the undisciplined nature of it with the penalties that's I think more than any of the other crap that's going on, more than Tucker, more than, an offense that just looked out of place today and a defense that played better than it has in weeks. All the other problems that there are with this team, that's the thing that has to be buttoned up before the playoffs roll around, or if the playoffs roll around at this rate, because like they cannot continue to be that bad in the disciplinary stuff and get away with it.
even my
Yeah, go
bad, not
ahead.
to cut you off. Even the oldest, like the OG, Kyle Van Noy, bro. It's like the same thing over and over. It's always a flag. Like, gotta be disciplined, man. And one more thing, like what KZ said, I do feel like if you bring like a kicker in, maybe it might motivate Tucker. But I just feel like nowadays you just got younger kickers that's just like can kick the mess out of the ball. And I don't think he still got it, but he just don't have like the distance like how these younger kickers.
It's not been the distance that's been the issue. It's been he's just pulling everything left. Like that's been the issue. Like the distance has been there. And again, he kicked a 54-yarder that was clean by another 5 yards. Like it was fine.
Maybe he
It's just
got to switch his style up or something. What you think? Maybe
I don't. If I had those answers, Trippy, I'd be doing something else, man. And
I
hey,
mean,
make
I used to play kicker, so I'm thinking about it. Like,
yeah, right.
if you keep kicking and it keep going left, like just switch it up a little bit, so maybe you can get a little up on it and it could still go straight. But I don't know though. But that's a problem. That's a problem we having right now.
Should we try to track down the kid that was on College Game Day yesterday that made the kick?
No, that's not
I
the
mean,
answer.
Why? I mean,
I ain't
nailed
trying to be funny.
Yes,
They
he
can
did.
try me out for real.
I don't think that's going to be the answer, Trip, and I love you. Make the trip to the game easy by saving the easy passway for tolls. Go to driveeasymd.com. That's driveeasymd.com. And Tom, to the point, yes, not Harbaugh's fault. At what point do you hold players accountable for the fumbles, penalties? You can only coach up the players so much. And that is, by the way, one of the difficult parts about, doing the 10,000-foot view of this game is it's easy to get lost in the minutia, just sort of repeating the stuff, hey, the Steelers are the kryptonite. But how do you explain what happened on the Justice Hill play? Like, who are you mad about that? You give credit to Peyton Wilson, who made the play, but it's a nanosecond away from definitively being a catch and down. I don't like, this is the tough part about this, is that the results ultimately, and this is why it's a results business, I'm pissed off about the result. And if it continues, if again you lose at home to the Steelers in a couple weeks, you lose again to them or the Chiefs in the playoffs, we're going to have that conversation and I'm going to join you guys. But today you want to fire somebody because you're mad that Derrick Henry coughed up a ball, which he like never does ever. That's what it is that's going to make you say, hey, this is all John Harbaugh's fault, or this is proof that this organization can never get over the top?
It's the craziest thing. Like, they show the stats, it's the first time in 600 touches that Derrick Henry's fumbled the ball. And then later in the game, it's Lamar's first interception in 150 pass attempts. It's just crazy how it always happens in these games.
This is the dirt.
Part of the
But
script.
that goes back to me, it all goes back to and yeah, the interception. You pat the Steeler player on the back. I mean,
Peyton Wilson.
he made a good play. They're out there busting their butt too. Queen, ripped the ball out. You got to be stronger there if you're likely. He ripped the ball out there. But all of those things, the biggest problem again are the penalties. Because instead of being 3rd and 2, it's 3rd and 7. Instead of being off the field on 3rd down, it's a 1st down. Or instead of them being, us getting a 1st down, we're now 1st and 15. You're always behind the sticks with these penalties, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, they got credit for 12. I don't know if Pittsburgh declined any that was.
Right.
It's just you're giving in games like this 80 yards to just 3 yards is just ridiculous, and you can't win that way. And
1000%.
all those things, who's playing? And look, I know I led the whole HWO thing, and I said last year once he won the playoff game, I was off of it. I mean, it is what it is. They're not firing him in season at any point. After the season, I mean, is this a hardball problem? Has this been, I don't think they've ever been this undisciplined. This is a whole new level of undiscipline. Is this because of all the coaches that left in the offseason and the new
No, I don't
regime?
think it helped. Yeah, to the point.
It didn't help. I don't want to put it all on John Harbaugh, and I know that's terrible for me saying.
I'm still surprised. I don't know who you are.
Well, look, I don't think I say this, Glenn, all the time. I don't think things change as far as winning another Super Bowl and things like that until that changes, because I think there are things he does during the season that affect where you are in the playoff pool and and during playoff games and time and clock and all that. I don't think he's a very good in-game coach. But this is deeper than John Harbaugh is leading an undisciplined team. Because John Harbaugh normally, the one you can say lots of things about him, usually his teams are not undisciplined.
Not like this. No, not at all like this. A couple things real at the end. I don't know. One of your buddies. I can't even understand what he's saying, Ken. I'm sorry.
Which one is it? Is it AJ or John?
John. I will give you the.
He's upset.
No one is saying. I'm not saying fire Harbaugh, but what I'm saying is that Ken has said year in and year out this team is very undisciplined. And we tend to get out coached the most important games that we play. Can you at least acknowledge that?
I acknowledge that.
Yeah, no, I think he's asking me. Yeah, I think he's saying he agrees with you, and he's asking me.
I acknowledge him as my tribal chief. Yeah.
Thank you. I acknowledge you. Look, man, I don't. Like, again, you're gonna have to tell me what you think are the most important games of the year. What were the most important games of the year last year? If you're defining that singularly by the Chiefs game, then I guess you're right? Like, if that's the only one that matters. If you're defining it that this was the most recent one, so that's the one, then yeah. But they're gonna play this team again in a few weeks, and does that game not matter now because they lost this one? This is the part that when they lose, we will all remember that day. I think Mike Tomlin is a better overall head coach than John Harbaugh is. I would rather be the Baltimore Ravens than the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. That's what I'm telling you. If Mike Tomlin,
because of the quarterback, though,
100% it's because of the quarterback. And if Mike Tomlin was available, I'd say go hire Mike Tomlin tomorrow, because I think he's better than everybody else. But I watch enough of the league to know that this picture that we're painting, where like coaching is great, other than in one place, is bat-ass. Yeah. Bat-ass insane. Nuts. Bonkers, the way that we talk about it, based on what reality is. And am I frustrated? I'm frustrated as hell today. I'm very frustrated. The Ravens lost in the margins, a game they had no business of losing, and it allows for all of this garbage about, well, the Steelers have their number, based on what we all knew was an inflated 8-1 record where 4 of the games weren't even football games. But it allows us to back that up. Well, now this game did matter, and they won it, so clearly it proves everything. The next Ravens-Steelers game is massively important. Massively important. They have to get this out of their system. They have to. That has to be the end of it. Period. And to the point, maybe it's the time between now and then in which you're making your decision about Justin Tucker. Like, you don't play the Steelers again. If Justin Tucker continues to struggle like this, he doesn't get to face them the next time. I'll listen to that argument because that next game, critical. That this has to end. The Ravens have to answer this somehow, some way. And look, man, I do give them credit, but they weren't. Like, there's this thing that we're going to do where we're going to pretend like they were wildly better or something along those lines. I still don't know. My life on the line, I don't know that Isaiah Likely actually fumbled the ball. I have no clue if he actually fumbled the ball or not, because the only angle we got to saw looked pretty damn well like his forearm was down on the ground. And then they just sort of blew past it. Now, I get it. They allegedly looked at it, and they looked at it and decided to move on. And maybe they looked at it and said, well, it's too close. We're not going to overturn it. Maybe they actually saw something. I'd like to know. But those are the margins. That's the margins we're talking about. And trying to create big picture, grandiose statements about a football team when the margins are that small is very difficult for me to do. But we get to it. It goes that way. I'm going to join all you guys. They lose to the Steelers again, they get knocked out of the playoffs, you'll get everything. I don't know how it's going to make anybody feel better, but if that's all you want is for somebody else to yell about John Harbaugh, like, I'll be happy to join you, because we get to that point, that will be enough. That disparity will be enough to say, you don't have a choice anymore. You got to make the move. And, I love Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's got to be better, which doesn't mean it's his fault, but he's got to be better, period. That's where we are. What a fun day this has been. I'm really glad we got to do this.
Not fun.
Awesome.
Not fun at all.
Awesome. Really great. I haven't been able to watch the Bills game. What's going on there?
They're up 13-7.
13-7, and they're having a brawl right now.
Oh, I'm sure that Bills fans won't
by the way,
to your point, Glenn,
it was actually kind of nice having like a little bit of like fire in this game. I know like I was shouting down the disciplinary stuff, but like this felt a little bit like a old school Ravens Steelers game, talking about brawls. Like it was fiery. I kind of
it was
kind of enjoyed that part of it, as long as everyone's not being an idiot.
Yep, I agree. All right. Reminder real quick, just going to go over two things. First of all, you can experience the thrill of live betting with the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. Green Turtle Sportsbooks, the ultimate destination for game day and excitement and in-person betting. Arthur Millette Show, we are scheduled to be together Tuesday night at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. If you're asking me for an update on Arthur Millette, I do not have it for you. We'll all get that update together when we get it, but we are scheduled to be together Tuesday night at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Trippy, thanks for coming and hanging out this week. I know Reeta was under the weather. Appreciate her and Femi. And look, we're all mad. We're all pissed off. Nobody's
you want
happy.
Top 5? I have a top 5.
Yeah.
You want to do? You can do top 5. Fine, we can do. Top 5.
I gotta do number 1.
I wish
Oh,
Femi ain't leave though. I really wanted to hear the real version of Femi, because when we lose, I love hearing Femi when he talks. So
and he wears it on his. I get it. I'm not even mad. Like we're all pissed off. Everybody's pissed off right now, and it leads to yelling, and it leads to screaming, and it leads to all of this stuff. It's just the way that it goes. It's not our fault. It's their fault for losing. All right, Andrew, you can go first.
Number 5, I've got these Pittsburgh Steelers, who are leaping above the Ravens. That'll tell you the Ravens are falling out of my top 5.
Of course. Yeah.
Number 4, I've got the Eagles, which it kind of pains me because I don't really think the Eagles are that good, but it jumps a tier after this. I got the Bills next, then the Chiefs, and then the Lions. I think those are the 3 kind of teams that I'm looking at right now as the cream of the crop. But everyone else below that, I'm finding it hard shuffling between like 4 and 8 right now. But
I just realized that we have the exact same top 5.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it's not, because it doesn't involve the Baltimore Ravens. It just means
but it is what it is, Glenn. Like, that's where we are.
No, that's where we are.
We've made this bed. We have to lie in it.
That's the reality. KZ?
I have the Minnesota Vikings at 5.
Wow.
Okay.
I have the
Philadelphia
Eagles. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4. I have the Eagles at 3. I have the Chiefs at 2, and I still have the Lions at 1.
All right. Griffin?
Ravens remain in my top 5. They don't have to play the Steelers every week, so and they still have Lamar Jackson. So they are number 5. The Eagles at 4. Steelers are number 3. And then Kansas City 2. My new number 1 is the Detroit Lions. After today, they finally won me over, so I will put the Lions at number 1 now.
All right, Trippy, you think anybody else should be in the top 5 that we haven't mentioned?
Y'all said the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I like all of them. I don't really agree with the Steelers being in the top 5 though. Like,
Hey,
but
bro, they did what they
They're
did.
8-2.
Yep.
They're
yeah.
8-2, and they just. By the way, having the Ravens in the top 5, Griff, with 4 losses now, is just.
It's a power
I don't
ranking.
know.
It's not a.
Damn, we got 4
I don't
losses
know,
now.
man.
Wow.
I don't know.
I also like that it's taking you this long to have the Lions win you over. What the hell else do they have?
I know.
To
What
do?
are you waiting for?
The Chiefs
My
are
goodness.
undefeated, man.
Yeah,
Well,
but
Chiefs
nobody
don't
thinks that they're
lose.
better than the Lions right now.
Yeah, the Lions
Yeah,
looking real
yeah,
good right
but
now.
this goes back to actually what you believe in when you get to the playoffs, and it still requires me to say that if I think it comes down to Jared Goff having to win a game or Patrick Mahomes having to win a game, then I'm always going to take Patrick Mahomes over Jared Goff. I'm with you that I think they deserve to be number 1 right now, but if you ask me who I think the favorite is to win the Super Bowl, I'd still default to the Kansas City Chiefs as being the favorite to win the Super Bowl because of it. It's just where we are. It's like I've got the Steelers over the Ravens, but if you ask me which one I think has a better chance of winning the Super Bowl, I still think it's the Baltimore Ravens that have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl than the Steelers do, because I just don't think that that's good enough to win a Super Bowl. But it doesn't change what happened today. That's the reality of it. All right. Cool. We'll be back together late night following Ravens Chargers on Monday night of next week. Project Game Day has been made possible by 1-800-GAMBLER. No cost treatment now available for anyone wanting help with a gambling problem. Love you guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week for Project Game Day.